Okay then, folks, welcome back. We'll call this business meeting of the Township Board of Trustees to order at 7:12, and we're in order. Trustee Sherwood, care to lead us in the pledge? After you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. To a roll call of board members, Trustee Glass.
Here.
Here. Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Sherwood.
Here.
Treasurer Robinson.
Here.
And I'm Supervisor Combs. And I will go ahead and move to excuse Clerk Mackey this evening.
Support.
It's a motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda this evening? Seeing none. Thank you. We will proceed to our first public comment period this evening. Once again, if you'd like to make a public comment, feel free to step to the podium. The microphones are on for the business meeting, and you'll have 3 minutes to use as you choose. Please.
Hello everyone, my name is Albert Barroso. I live here in Kalamazoo Township, and I'm an early childhood advocate and a staff member for the Yes for Families Kalamazoo County Childcare Millage campaign. The Kalamazoo County Childcare Millage campaign will be on the August primary ballot as a nonpartisan ballot. I'm here to talk to you about the childcare desert that exists in Kalamazoo County and its impact here in Township, and what the millage will do to improve the situation. Kalamazoo County has approximately 200 licensed child care service providers, but is only able to serve about 1/4 of the families who need it. 3 in 4 families cannot find the care that they need. Parents are often placed on a wait list of 12 to 18 months, impacting their ability to remain employed and build financial stability for their families. And child care disruptions hurts employers too. In Michigan, more than $2.3 billion are lost by employers every year due to absenteeism and turnover, all due to parents not being able to find or rely on quality childcare in their communities. The wages of childcare providers are one of the lowest in any of the workforce. 70% earn less than $15 an hour, and 40% struggle to cover their basic needs, forcing them to leave the childcare sector for more livable wages. These people nurture, teach, and protect our children during their most important years of development. Their compensation should reflect their responsibility. The countywide childcare/early learning ballot measure is an 8-year millage proposal. It includes a 0.5 millage, creating $6.3 million in funds in its first year. This means that for a home that has a market value of $200,000, an estimated $50 property tax will be assessed. The millage will be administered by the Health and Human Services Department within the Kalamazoo County government, formed by a local advisory group that will assess the needs throughout the county on an annual basis. It will access to child care, especially for children ages birth to 0, birth to 3, lower costs of child care for working families, and increased wages for early educators and stability for providers. Tonight, I'm asking everyone to vote yes for childcare on or before August 4th. I'm asking for endorsement as a community leader for a resolution of support for this nonpartisan ballot measure that will help create vibrant communities, strong families, and thriving children. Thank you, everyone, for considering these requests, and I thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Additional public comment, please.
You'll have to bear with me. I have an allergy that causes me to cough all the time, and it's not fun, so my apologies. Good evening. My name is Mikey Rogers. I live at 2311 Chaparral. I've lived in this neighborhood for nearly 40 years, and my house for nearly 9. This has always been a nice neighborhood, and I loved growing up here. However, along with my neighbors, we've noticed an uptick in crime and cars driving faster and faster down the road. Last night, I was chatting with my neighbors when a car ran a stop sign, and I remarked that the driver didn't stop. The driver then turned around and confronted me. I told him there was a stop sign, and he didn't seem to care. A short time later, he drove back around, did donuts in the intersection on Fur and Chaparral, and then proceeded to throw garbage at my house while staring me down through my living room window. I ended up having to clean up that garbage, by the way. I immediately called to report the incident and was told I wasn't the first. I made contact with the police officer over an hour later and explained the situation, and my experience with the police officer was positive. I feel threatened, and so does my wife, along with our neighbors across the street. We are worried more retaliation will occur in the future. I bring this to you along with the thoughts and feelings of my neighbors. We do not neighborhood. The drug trafficking seems to have skyrocketed, especially on Fur between Chaparral and Cumberland. This is also a for drug deals and truant students from K Central. We expect last to be taken seriously with the offender facing consequences. The neighbors and my wife, despite me sticking up for the police department, have all lost confidence in the police department along with the other residents in my neighborhood because as these incidents have increased, police presence has not. One neighbor even questioned why I called in the first place. As he put it, it won't do any good. This feeling of no confidence should not be echoed when Kalamazoo Township is discussed. We know we aren't the only neighborhood, but we are one of your neighborhoods, and we feel neglected. There are families with little kids. My wife has been almost hit several times ourselves. Skyline, Chaparral, and Cumberland all have cars that speed up and down the road, complaining to fall on deaf ears. Several neighbors have mentioned leaving the township because it's not as safe as it used to be. This neighborhood grew up, and it's now where I own a home. I will not live in fear, and I expect action to be taken. Thank you. And I'll submit this for your...
Thank you very much. Other public comments this evening? Seeing no movement in the room, we will proceed with our agenda this evening. Moving to the consent agenda, Treasurer Robinson will come to you in the clerk's absence.
Yes, I would like to move to approve the consent agenda as recommended by the superintendent and supervisor with the approval of the payment of the bills for July 2026, the approval of June check disbursements, approval of minutes for the June 22nd of 2026 work session, as well as the approval of the minutes of the June 22nd of 2026 regular meeting as well.
Support.
There's a motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion carries. Thank you all. We will proceed then to our public hearing and presentations portion of the evening. We do have two first readings this evening. These are both board relating to the potential data center and battery energy storage facility moratoriums previously discussed at a work session. For the benefit of both the public, anyone here and anyone tuning in, and also the board, I do want to just briefly read the notes for each of these as we introduce them that were put together by the superintendent, planner, and legal counsel so that we all have the same context that we're working from. So for this first one, the potential motion to accept ordinance number 647, the notes are as follows. Michigan has become an attractive location for data centers given its availability of, among other things, underground water. Data centers are not presently permitted in the township, although it must plan for the possibility. Data centers are largely unstudied, particularly as a land use in the municipal realm. This ordinance, or potential ordinance, is a one-year moratorium on accepting applications for data centers in order to permit the township to consider impacts, standards, guidelines, possible ordinance or ordinance amendments to address the same. This one-year moratorium is extended or reduced if the township has developed standards and regulations and ordinances addressing would be in order.
I will motion to accept the ordinance number 647 for first reading, scheduled adoption of July 27th, 2026.
Support.
There's a motion and support. Is there any discussion on the matter?
Just thank the people putting this together, our planning, and Trustee Leonard is the one that first brought it up. Maybe it was the
Tracy's already
superintendent.
thinking about it.
It was a combination. I think we were all thinking the same things. Yeah. I'm just glad we're able to take this up.
Any other discussion? Superintendent, do you have anything on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll proceed to a voice vote to consider the motion at hand. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. And the motion of first reading carries. Thank you very much. I have a second one this evening. I read the brief notes just for shared awareness for all of us. This is a potential to accept ordinance number 646. This one relates to battery energy. Notes are as follows. Large-scale solar energy fields and wind energy systems are township due to the amount of land needed for the same. Given the current public sentiment expressed in other local municipalities, the town has required a moratorium on development of battery storage systems in the township. This will give the planning time and determine what, if any, ordinance amendments are necessary. And again, a motion would be.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 4-6 for first reading scheduled 11th of 2026.
Support.
There's a motion and support. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none. Superintendent, anything from you? Okay. With that, we will proceed to a voice vote once again. The motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. And this motion carries as well. Thank you very much. That concludes our public hearing and portion of the meeting this evening. We have no old business this evening, so we can proceed directly to new business. First is a potential motion to accept the settlement and a release agreement with Shereen. Just to add some context, after our previously board and until today, attorney did come back and agree to the $10,000 amount settlement we had previously discussed amongst this board. This, as you'll see attached in the packet, Miller has already signed the agreement. Of course, I have not, without authorization from this board, and I believe also already delivered funds to the township without our having even signed or requested those. That being said, a motion would be in order, and of course, there will be room for
I'll make a motion. Settlement and release agreement with Shereen Miller.
Support.
Thank you. There's a motion and support. Is there any discussion on this?
Yep. This is a great resolution, and with that we can move forward.
Agreed. And just to make very clear the next steps of this, again, the agreement is already in our hands, so should this motion carry, then after this meeting, I would sign in the township super would conclude as it currently stands. The other thing I just want to call out is that it's in this new settlement agreement, but the more complicated and complex terms of the original settlement agreement, which resulted in Shereen Miller's resignation, would still stand, and this reaffirms that.
Good.
Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, since this is a motion, we can proceed to a voice vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Thank you very much. And thank you, board, and tuning in for bearing with us through the process on that matter. We do have a second new business item this evening, and I brought this one forward. So, go ahead and introduce it and make the motion. I also will, just for the benefit of the board and the public, as expeditiously as possible, read the potential solution as part of my motion so that we're all clear. But this topic, again, is office space, as you see listed here in the agenda. You may recall, board, at the previous work session meeting that we held a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, I brought forward the reality that we are simply out of space in this building. While our work is expanding, our staff is expanding, which is all great, and it's fantastic that we've broken ground on the new building. We are here for the next 20 months, and this is what we have to work with. And while our space is dwindling, we're starting to feel the real consequences of that. Most recently, our superintendent was in the position of having to eliminate the staff conference room in order to make workspace. So this resolution attempts to rectify that, utilizing board space that has been historically occupied by board members in the building. And so in keeping with the practice that we established during the Shereen Miller matter earlier on, that when board workspace in the office is to be discussed, it comes here to the board, just to sort of reiterate and support the superintendent in her direction. So with that, I will move to adopt the resolution directing the superintendent to utilize board office or workspaces to best accommodate township operational needs as presented. And again, that resolution is as follows. Whereas Kalamazoo Township is operating at a deficit of workspace for administrative operations, and whereas accommodating adequate workspace for township staff has forced the elimination of vital operational resources such as a staff conference room, and whereas the matter of workspace limitations in current township facilities was presented to the Board of Trustees at the June 22nd, 2026 work session, Whereas Kalamazoo Township intends to vacate this current office building in less than 2 years, and whereas the Township Superintendent holds general authority over Township operational matters, including usage of office space, and whereas Kalamazoo Township and its Board of Trustees endeavors to consistently implement that superintendent model of local government it has adopted, and whereas Kalamazoo Township is unique amongst its peers in both the breadth and depth of services offered, and whereas the overwhelming majority of board and staff leadership have proactively indicated willingness to adapt and adjust their workspaces in the best interest of township operations, and whereas township board officers, those being the supervisor, treasurer, and clerk, currently occupy 3 large individual workspaces in the township hall, and whereas township board officers are each bound by certain confidentiality obligations, and whereas township board officers are each responsible for sensitive and confidential documents and require appropriate workspace, we're almost there. And whereas the current office of the township supervisor has historically served as a secure workspace for the supervisor and at times other township officials and staff without incident, and whereas the current office of the township supervisor includes 2 separate, individually lockable doors and adequate space to be divided into 2 offices, and finally, whereas township board officers are fiduciaries of the township, and as such shall put the best interest of the township and integrity of its service and operations before personal interest and convenience, now therefore be it resolved. The Board of Trustees instructs the Township Superintendent to create 2 offices from the single office currently occupied by the Township Supervisor for occupancy by the Township Treasurer and Clerk. Be it further resolved, the Superintendent shall facilitate any necessary adjustments to the aforedesignated office space to accommodate both the Treasurer and Clerk, and shall facilitate move of their office technology, documents, signage, and any other necessary items into that designated space. Be it further resolved that the Township Supervisor shall work primarily remotely without a dedicated office and shall reserve space, such as the conference room within the Township Hall, when work requires. Be it further resolved that the Superintendent shall ensure the Supervisor, Clerk, and Treasurer maintain access to secure document storage, office technology, such as printing, a phone line, short-term office space via a desk or table, and public signage in the Township Hall. And finally, be it further resolved that the Superintendent shall utilize office space formerly occupied by the Township Treasurer and Clerk to provide adequate workspace for Township staff and maintain a staff conference room. So moved.
Support.
There's a motion and support. I will say, just a quick item of discussion, because it's sort of buried in there. The one significant implication of this is that as a supervisor, I would not maintain a permanent physical office in this building. I have been, in anticipation of this, speaking with the superintendent and via the superintendent, our maintenance staff, about a few things to make sure that, 1, I can continue to do my job, that I have access to things like a printer, my phone line does not change, and 2, to ensure that I remain fully accessible to residents if and when they decide to meet. So I've begun, for example, this week taking most resident meetings at coffee shops, for example. Many of you know I do, for administrative work, maintain a home office that is fully equipped for video conferencing, things like that. And I don't think you're aware of this either, Superintendent, but I've begun looking at resources such as Calendly. If you're not familiar with that, resources like Calendly essentially just make it easier for folks who want to meet, sort of enables them to do that and select a time and a place with as little barrier as possible. So the goal will be to remain as accessible as possible while addressing that space concern. Any other questions or discussion? This implicates you, Treasurer, so I want to open the door for you to have any input you want as well?
I have nothing.
Okay.
As long as I have access to the internet and adding machine and a pen and a pencil and something to write with, and my brain is operational that day, I can function from a closet. So it doesn't matter. So wherever I am at, I am gonna serve from whatever space it is. So
Fair enough.
it does not matter. So as I said,
Okay.
wherever y'all need to move me, that's where I'll work from. So I am good wherever I land.
All right.
Thank you all for being flexible and making this work.
Yeah, thank you all for your patience as we sort this out. Superintendent, do you have anything on this either? Fair enough. Any other discussion before we proceed to a vote? Okay. The last thing I'll say as a matter of discussion is, again, and this is, I know, Superintendent, you know this and we know this as the board, this is technically unnecessary. The board before us delegated all operational authority to the superintendent. I appreciate, Superintendent, your willingness for matters to come in front of the board when they directly involve board workspace. I think it's because it's established that we have established earlier on for completely different reasons. I think it makes sense, and it also ensures that your actions and your authority are supported by the board. Seeing no other discussion and no hands, then we'll proceed to a roll call vote for this one, since it is a resolution. We'll begin with Trustee Leonard.
Aye.
Trustee Sherwood.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Treasurer Robinson.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Glass.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you very much. That concludes our new business this evening. There were no items removed from the consent agenda, and for the first time in a while, I think, we do not have a closed session this evening. So we will proceed to our second public comment period. Once again, if you'd like to make a public comment, feel free to step to the podium. We have 3 minutes. I think everyone here knows the drill.
Susan Banner, 518 Edison, 49004. With regard to the discussion of the golf course property, as a citizen, it feels very unilateral without community input. And I think you want to be careful about that because that's going to have a big impact. Second item is, I don't see where housing on that is going to address the housing shortage within our community because those properties are not likely to be cost effective for the people who need them the most. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other public comment this evening? Seeing no movement. Well, thank you all. With that, we will proceed then to superintendent comments. Tracy?
Thank you. With the groundbreaking, we are waiting for our pictures to come back, and then we'll be finalizing our summer newsletter. So expect that to be finalized in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully all arrive well with the printer. And then we can get that out as soon as possible. So that will be coming as soon as we get the pictures finalized. Secondly, we have had a lot of assistance in this part over the last month. And I wanted to bring a couple residents forward, Al Summers and Brian Sargent, I believe is how we pronounce his last name. Both of them have been very instrumental, and one offering to clean up during the 4th of July festivities. So just wanted to let you know that there are some very active members of Wilson Park that are happy to engage and assist us, so we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. We'll proceed to board member reports. Treasurer Robinson, let's start with you.
Okay, I have a couple things. I'm grabbing one thing real quick that I left in here that I want to make sure that I have so that I can actually show it. I think I may have put it up here already. So the main thing is gonna be tax bills. I know that a lot of people are wondering what is going on with those. So tax bills are, some of them went out already and some of them were a little bit more delayed. So there was an issue at the printer where unfortunately the last little bit of storms that went through, they lost their internet. And so slight problem when they don't have their internet, they were unable to get some things. So there was that and a formatting issue. So we got the formatting issue taken care of first, and then they had no internet. So they did contact me today, and everything is in order, and so those should be out shortly to everyone. Some will start receiving them this week, and then others will just be just a little bit more delayed. Also in those, just so everybody is aware, there is a property fraud alert insert that will be in those. Some may have seen them already. They come from the Kalamazoo County Clerk's office. So there's information in there on that, so I just don't want anybody to think that it's a, like, fraudulent. But it is a fraud alert just for your property, a way to go ahead and actually put a notification pretty much on your property. And you're able to do that and be notified if someone is trying to register your property. That goes through the county's office, and there is a hotline, a phone number, a QR code for everyone, and that will be included in tax bills. So That's one of the inserts in there, so I just want everybody to know that, so expect that to be included in tax bills as they go out. If you happen to have a, if your mortgage company pays it, we do have them here in the office. We have a whole bunch of them here in the office. Also, they're down at the county's office as well, so you can get them there as well, so. And I have plenty of them here if anybody wants one while they're here. Other than that, that's really all I have. Taxes are available, so you are able to go online, and you can pay it online. You can come into the office right now, even without your bill. They have been up since July 1st, so they are due and payable starting July 1st through September 14th without additional penalties or fees. And so if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call here at the township. We're here to help and assist as far as you being able to get your bill if you have not received it yet. So just let us know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Trustee Martin, what do you got?
Just two things. One of the things is that I'm really concerned about since COVID hit, and then we got over COVID. Apparently, not all of our people, but a lot of people don't know how to drive anymore. And this gentleman that came up and spoke tonight was speaking about, driving through the neighborhoods, and it's not just the neighborhoods. It's not stopping for emergency vehicles, police or fire. And so just be real careful out on the road there, because there's a lot of people out there that are not following the rules. And we don't have police officers all over, and we take the calls as we get them. So there ain't much we can do except follow up on the calls, because we don't have, like the city of Kalamazoo, all kinds of police officers all around. So be careful when you're out there driving, and you're taking off from a red light or a green light, or going from red to green. Be careful going through the intersection, because they'll run those intersections, especially on West Main, all the time. Drake Road is another one they run, so you just be careful driving. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Leonard?
Thank you. I attended the county's information session on data centers and battery storage, and it was very informative. So I'm grateful that we have passed these ordinances, because I think it will give us time to be more thoughtful and educated about those potential investments in our community. But yeah, I think there is a recording available. It was very informative, and it gave me a lot of information about what I need to learn more about. It was the basic intro, but yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Trustee Glass?
I have no report.
Fair enough. Trustee Sherwood?
There will be a Westwood neighborhood meeting, Westwood Neighborhood Association meeting on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And it's at the Westwood United Methodist Church. It's a great place to kind of meet your local community in Westwood, talk to folks. I often am not able to make those, but I'm usually able to get updates from other folks. But if you can make it, it's a good use of your time, good way to connect your community.
Thanks very much. I have just a couple of things this evening. First, as Superintendent Ward mentioned, the groundbreaking for the community campus, that took place earlier this week on the 9th. And I actually just want to extend a thanks to the superintendent, to you, and also to the staff for organizing such a fantastic event despite the rain. There had to be 100 people packed into the tent, from elected officials to community members and residents to media, and everyone in between. Heck, my grandparents were there. And it was not just, I think, an opportunity to put shovels in the ground and begin the project of building a community campus for real, which it was. It made it very real. But it was also an opportunity just to celebrate our township and to really sort of show off our community. And I've heard only good things from folks from outside of our township who were there. So thank you, Superintendent, and please extend our thanks to the staff as well. I think it's important. It was truly a successful event, and just the beginning of a massive project that will define the township for a very long time. So thank you. A couple other things. Traffic and driving has come up a couple of times this evening. I did receive a couple of questions because there was a news article earlier this week about 2 of our firefighters from the township who were involved in a head-on accident. Thankfully, those firefighters are okay, first and foremost, and we're thankful for that, and of course have them and their families in our thoughts. But also, I just want to reiterate what Trustee Martin said. Please don't drive your car like you stole it. you know, it's a crowded, especially time of year. We're all out and about. It's summertime. School's out. Kids are excited too. But please, just be careful as you're driving down the roads. And I just also want to have a quick flag that, you know, with Trustee Sherwood's leadership, among others, there are ongoing conversations, especially on the West Main corridor, I guess would be the right word, about what we can do along with our partners at the state and the city and otherwise to continue to make our roads as safe as possible. And finally, if you're here, you all know this, but it is hot this week. It's going to be hotter the next couple of days. We're in the midst of yet another heat wave. And I just want to remind folks that there are great resources, both from Kalamazoo County and also the Kalamazoo Public Libraries, of which we have, branches here in Kalamazoo Township, to get cool. So either, if you have computer access, you need a place to get cool, take a look at the county's website or the public library's website, or just pop into the libraries. They've been very public that, if you need a place to cool down, as long as they're open, then they are there. But please, both take care of yourselves, folks here, folks tuning in, and also, if you know folks who are particularly susceptible to heat for any reason, please make sure to check on them. It's going to be another hot week. And that's all I have. Are there any other comments for the good of the order? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
There's a motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? We're adjourned at 7:43. Thank you very much. Thank you all.